This is Matt for Into Boxing. Delighted to be joined by young prospect John Hedges. John, talk to me how's things apart from your hair, which you've moaned about already.
Yeah, like you say, Matt. Other than my hair, all good. Yeah, been good. Like, listen, great hotel, enjoyed it down here. Managed to carry on with my training, which was what we intended to do. Coming down here, getting a few days training. I've only got 2 weeks to my fight night, but no, yeah, enjoying it. Johnny looks unbelievable down here with Ebony as well, and yeah, it's good. Team Tibbs.
Yeah, I spoke to Ebony and she says, yeah, she's got to come down here because obviously you can't break your camps, can you? She's got a world title fight. You've got an important fight coming up on the Okoli card. Have you managed to keep things ticking over while you come down here and support Johnny then?
Yeah, exactly that. We went down to Stonebridge ABC a couple of days ago, doing a bit of running, doing a bit of S&C, just doing anything. Do you know what I mean? Listen, there's a good swimming pool here as well, so we're making the most of that. Just making the most of the facilities, but obviously we had to stay with Mark, we had to stay with Jimmy, and the main thing is that we didn't break camp. Ebony got some rounds in yesterday, and yeah, we've just been carrying on, cracking through it, and it's been going well.
Your gym's really vibrant at the minute, and you've obviously just got Ebony as a sort of an addition now as well. What's it like, the atmosphere in the gym? Yourself, Johnny, Ebony, you others as well. You've got such a good mix of, and as well as different levels.
Do you know what? Like you just said there, we're all different, but we're all grafters. Like everyone in the gym, we all literally train our bollocks off, if in the nicest way possible. Do you know what I mean? We train hard, we fight hard, and like Ebony, she's a girl. She's the only girl in the gym, but she's a grafter. She jumps in with us. She, do you know what I mean? She smashes it, and I think you're going to see a great performance of Johnny. He's really looking good in the gym. He's trained hard, and I think the development you're going to start seeing in this fight.
I'm just about to come on to Johnny. So Johnny Fisher, 4-0, and has a support like he's on the verge of winning a world title. Talk to me what it's like being around that and seeing that, because it's nice to get the story of, obviously he's a good family man, but Eddie spoke about this, there's no real connection to having all these fans other than the fact that he's that. There's no football affiliation, like Ricky Hans, he had the City fans, man of the people, Warrington's obviously huge, big in Leeds, but there's no other connection other than the fact that he's a good bloke and he's doing good for himself. Yeah,
that's exactly, and he comes from an area where everyone backs everyone. Like literally, Romford is a fighting town as such. Like anyone, if they've got a chance to go to a bit of boxing, a bit of sport here and there, they will back it. And where Johnny's such a nice man, it has times for pictures. His dad has time for pictures. They're just a big name in a small area. So I think near enough they're taking up the whole population of Romford. You'll see him here at the Ali Pali.
I have to say his dad, I didn't get a chance to speak to him yesterday, sadly, but I really want to speak to him. He is unbelievable. Like he's now a social media star himself. He's getting the messages from Tyson Fury, but they push the right message and they get all the tickets gone. And I think Eddie said if they'd have given 4,000, he'd have sold 4,000, which is crazy.
Yeah, like literally, even then, what you just said, when we was at the weigh-in, Johnny heard at the start of it there was like, there's tickets still up for sale. He was like, well, why aren't they giving me more? Because he's turning people away. So I just think when it gets to the time, the only good thing about them not all coming at once is that when he pushes up in through the ranks and he gets a title fight, I think he's going to do I honestly think 8,000. I think it's going to be crazy.
Eddie were talking about when he's fighting for an English title, potentially filling up the O2, which is absolutely batshit crazy when you think about it.
It's mad, yeah, and 100%. If there's anyone who could do it, it's Johnny, because he's such a nice person. The whole boxing world are getting behind him. He's got a great fan base. It's everything you need.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about Ebony. Obviously, since she's joined your team, what have you seen in her? She's got a huge fight, and it's not one in that division that. It's an easy fight. It's not for a vacant belt. It's against possibly the toughest one in the division. Cecilia Roman is no joke, but she's taking it very seriously. I know she's come down here so she don't break camp as well. What's it like being around her? And have you seen that work ethic that people keep talking about from her and that they see from her?
Yeah, exactly that. Like Matt, to be honest with you, Ebony chose that fight. Like she can earn good money just from fighting lesser opponents. She could have stayed around a bit longer, picked up a big sponsorship deal. She got a great following herself, but she didn't want it. She wanted to go in the deep end. She wanted to have it hard. And to be honest with you, it's going to be a hard fight for her, a very hard fight. But the way she's training in the gym, I think it's her fight to take.
Absolutely, it's really good, and it's fucking ballsy, I have to say.
Women's boxing is unbelievable.
It is, isn't it? Do you know, from my perspective now, it's almost not women's boxing. You see it, and it's like women's fights are 2-minute rounds, so they've not got time to piss ball about it. Just go, don't they? It's amazing. Talk to me about you anyway. Your first year as a professional. Looking back now, you 4-0. So how would you sum it up looking back at it now?
Just an unbelievably grateful year, to be honest with you. I had 3 fights this year. I had one the year before, making my debut. and obviously moving up to light heavy, found my weight, I've slowly built into it. Now I'm definitely built into it, struggling to make it again. But all jokes aside, I'm getting filled out. I'm starting to get my man strength, and I'm feeling good. And I think the performances they're telling. I think each fight I've slowly got better, I'm slowly doing a little bit more. And next fight I'm taking up a step up in opponent, a winning record, and hopefully it's going to be the one where I shine.
Yeah, your debut, I remember it because you copped a lot of flack for it, rightly or wrongly. And have you learnt a lot from that first fight? Because the opponent wasn't a debut opponent. He was a really decent fighter. Normally, you get sort of you normally get broken in with someone who's had maybe been on the road a lot. But journeyman, you got someone with a really decent record. Have you learnt a lot from that whole experience? Not just the fight, but the stuff that came with it.
100, yeah, Matt. Listen, 100%. Going back to that opponent, it was someone I should have beat, in my opinion. I was good enough to beat him, got the win. But at the time, it was probably, like you say, I got chucked in the deep end, found out on a day's notice that it was a southpaw, not unorthodox, and just shit like that. When you're 18, no excuses because age is just a number, but it was a lot to take in. Struggled at the weight. It was like one of them ones. It was like everything what could go wrong went wrong. But when you got Eddie Hearn standing in front of you and you're realising you're living your dream, you're never going to pull out of that opportunity. And I honestly mean it. They could have chucked a heavyweight in and I would have boxed him, because it was like I couldn't believe the stage I got myself so early on. And it was one of the things, we got through it. I owned up to it, said that it was my worst performance today, because it was. I still believe that I'm a lot better fighter back then to have done a lot better performance. But I think on the day I took a few things into consideration and it didn't turn up. But from then we changed trainer. I made the improvements I needed. I felt like I needed a fresh start. I needed a pro stable. I made them changes and went straight to Mark Tibbs and Jimmy Tibbs. And I think you slowly look at the performances. It's just you've seen the development quick.
Talk to me about how you feel now then in comparison to the start, because you've come on leaps and bounds. There's a difference in your performance each fight. You seem more accomplished. Now obviously we know you've a bit of an amateur career, but it's completely different, the programme. So talk to me about how you feel about yourself now and what you've noticed in yourself, the improvements. Are there certain subtle things that you've noticed in yourself?
Do you know the main thing with me is after that debut it was easy to knock me confidence. Didn't go back a bit. I just thought I had a lot of confidence, but then I thought to myself, maybe I have been hyped up a little bit here. But then with Mark, the first thing he done is hard sparring. He didn't want me sparring these easy opponents. For this camp, I swear to you, I've sparred cruiserweights. I've sparred Michael Lawal, I've been sparring Dan Aziz, Craig Richards. Just big names, do you know what I mean? And then when there ain't none of the big names, I'm just sparring these big cruiserweights, 3-0, 4-0, because if I can handle them, if I can, my feet are my best aspect, if I can keep away from trouble from them, then getting in a ring with a 36-year-old man, which is my next opponent, I should be able to keep away from him, keep doing what I do and get my sharpness. So the main thing with Mark is he gave me that much confidence because I'm fighting these big fighters and I'm doing half decent, I'm winning rounds, and that's the main thing. I'm not looking to beat them, but as long as I can take a couple of rounds out of that spar, that 6-8 round spar, I'm happy.
Yeah, the names you just mentioned there, the likes of Dan Aziz, who went in there and absolutely, and this is no disrespect to Jose Burton because he's a quality operator, and he obliterated him. He was class. So if you're doing a bit of sparring with him, then I'm sure it'll stand you in good stead. Your next fight, Lawrence Okoli undercard.
Yes.
Another big card. You're at the O2 again. Is that good for you? Do you feel more comfortable now on these bigger stages, shall we say?
Matt, to be honest with you, it's just like even sitting here saying it now, it's just a dream come true. It's my second year as a pro, barely, and I've only ever fought on big cards and whatnot. Like, it's just sitting here 19, you're just living the dream. So when Eddie announced the card with 4 Olympians on, it was a thing come true, because obviously coming from an amateur background, I had seen them GB boys on the I was the one, they was who I was looking up to. So now I'm on the same pro card as them. It's crazy. It is absolutely mad. And like I say, I'm taking up a step up in opponent. And I'm hoping that this is going to be the performance when people are like, oh bloody hell, this fella can fight.
Are you conscious of your record? Do you know when fighters go into fights, they want that knockout on the record? Are you conscious that you want to get that knockout? Is that something that plays in your mind? Because at the end of the day, you could be 50-0, 50 wins, no knockouts as long as you win. But are you conscious that you want to stop someone?
The main thing, I want to get the job done. Like, I get that the stoppages are going to come. I personally think potentially I'm going to need another year of developing before my knockout power's there.
You're only 19. I keep forgetting that talking to you. You're still developing, aren't you?
Yeah, and I'm still getting me. It's a cliche thing when people say man strength, but it's not. I'm getting with maturity. That's all I mean by that. And The main thing I always look at my last performance. I want that one to be better than the performance before, and if it is, then I've done my job. I've showed me improvement.
Yeah.
I don't want to take no backward steps. If the stoppage comes, it comes, but it's not something I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I just want to show that I am in the gym, I'm grafting my arse off, and I am improving.
Dreaming boxing, world champion. I take it as an obvious thing to say. Are you going to be at this weight forever? Do you think, or do you think you'll move up, or what do you think?
Yeah, perfectly honest, Matt. I can't see me fighting for a title at light heavy. In my opinion, I'd like to take a slow career. I might. Don't get me wrong. If the opportunity at English level come, I'll jump at it. Do you know what I mean? I'm like that. Win, lose or draw, I'm there. I'll fight anyone. But probably cruiserweight time I fill out, and that's where I'm looking to make a proper name.
Some big names. By the time you get there as well, you think 4 years off, especially Canelo looking to move it up. But yeah, no. Look, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, you're still only young, and I think. Well, often when I talk to people, we talk as if it's been happening forever. This, but you're only 19, and I think there's a few fighters in the same boat as you. I mean, we look at like Hope, who's on this spill. I can say the same thing to him. He looks like he's not going to get that man strength, but I just think in a few years when he's filled out a bit more as well, he's going to be a major problem, and I assume probably going to be the same for you. Yeah,
exactly. With Hopey, me and Hopey was on the amateur system together. He's held the weight he's holding now for a little while. I can't lie to you, so he's massive at the weight, but. The same thing with him. He's fighting a man. He knows he's giving a lot of age away, a lot of strength. He's going to be as big. He's going to get the biggest opportunity, biggest advantage he can get, and that's the way we're looking at it. And then when we slowly develop, he don't care who he fights because then he's the man as well.
Right. Just want to get your predictions on some fights coming up because we do a lot of this. But one's next week, so it'd be daft of me not to ask, even though you might have been asked it. Amir Khan, Kell Brook. Now, for me. When this fight were getting hyped up about 6 years ago, this would have been Wembley Stadium, sell out, no problem. They're both at that stage of the career now where it's probably one final roll of the dice. But as it's getting closer, the excitement's getting bigger. So whether it's Manchester Arena or wherever it is, it's still huge. When you look at that fight, who would you give the edge to? Who do you think's going to win?
To be honest with you, everyone else disagrees with me, but I think Kell Brook. I think Kell, because I think he's that little bit more fresher. His performance against Golovkin before his eye went was class to me. Like I thought that was he put in probably the best shift of I can't remember how many rounds, 4 or 5 rounds that I've seen a couple of boxers produce. And I think Amir, his chin does let him down. And I just think if Kell's not a massive hitter, but he's that much smaller, that much more compact, I think he'll have his number, especially in the later rounds.
Right, another one. I'll put you on your spot. One of your stablemates. Ebony Bridges just become a world champion in Leeds against Cecilia Roman. Hard fight, you're backing her. She comes against the odds. She has it hard, but she pulls through it and she wins. She becomes the new world champion. Brilliant. Look, John Hedges, I think we're at the fight, but I'm not sure. And if we are, we'll catch up again. But look, good luck. We wish you all the best. And yeah, we'll catch up again. Thanks for speaking to In2 Boxing. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. No worries.